talked before about my first ever 3-day fast that I recently did. And I have some videos on it so you can hear more about kind of the insights. But I keep coming back to one point, one takeaway that I took from it that keeps popping up in other areas that seems really valuable and impactful. So I thought I'd kind of dedicate some time to that. And it's a simple one in theory and in concept, and I think that's why the fast helped illustrate it. So it's the simple point of, when you're doing a fast, and this was 3 days, there are various times, particularly for me because I love to eat, where your body, your mind, right, yourself is telling you you need food. And from my perspective, having never done a fast like that before, I think the longest I've ever done is like a day. But even then I would be drinking, different juices and stuff. So never a true fast like this. I had no reference point for that. So conceptually, I might understand or believe that it's possible my mind or my body is lying to me, or possibly it feels worse than it is, and all those things. But I didn't actually know it, right? I didn't know it with any degree of certainty. I hadn't proven it out. It was just conceptual and theoretical. Having done the 3-day fast, though, and actually experienced an extended period of time where my body and my mind at differing times were like shouting at me, "You need to eat," but not listening, and then seeing it go away and seeing me continue to live and move on. And in simple terms, right, be able to not listen to that calling was really profound for me. And I don't mean to say it in that anytime our mind or body tells us something, we should dismiss it because it's not true, because I don't believe that. It's just the idea and the same approach I take to everything in life, right? I talked about it recently. Be ferociously open-minded to different views and different ideas, but also be ferociously skeptical. It's the same thing for ourselves. And what I was doing pre-fast was I wasn't really open to the idea that what my mind or body was telling me was not true, right? Or that I didn't have to listen to it. I thought the consequence of that, the risk of that, was too high. What this showed me was that there are instances where it is not true. So don't blindly always ignore it. Don't blindly always accept it, right? So I don't want to go from one extreme to the other. So what I've tried to do is just use that, though. And the reason why I say it's so profound and it keeps popping up is it's hard for me to imagine how many times now, it would have been hard for me to imagine, that same sensation comes up in all sorts of different ways. Certainly with food, again, that's the most obvious one, but it could be anything. It could be, exercising and feeling like, my arms are dead, right? My mind, my body's telling me my arms are dead. I can't do another one. But hey, there was a time in which I thought my body was telling me something and it wasn't true with fasting, so maybe I can, right? So I try. Where it's even more profound, though, is psychologically and mentally. When I'm in a situation that feels really difficult and I feel like I need to do something, right? Could be anything. Could be something at work where my boss sends me an email and maybe it comes off as rude or disrespectful to me, or I don't like what she's saying. And everything in my body, because that's the way I'm wired, is saying, like, you need to respond right now. You need to address this. You need to let this be known. You need to do this. Right? It's that same sensation. It's that same sensation of everything in my body feels compelled and is telling me I have to take some action. But just like in the fast, right? I know that may not be true. And now it gives me, as I talked about again in other videos, that pause, that instant to just stop and think and be like, hey, let's be thoughtful about this. I can't just assume that because I feel the need to do this, it's true. It could be in a situation, in a relationship with my wife or family or whatever, where something's going on and it feels wrong to me. It feels like there's a problem here, or something's not right, or something needs to be done. And I just no longer blindly assume because I'm being pulled to that it's true. It seems so simple. It seems so obvious, right? It seems like, oh yeah, just don't blindly trust your intuition. Don't blindly trust your gut. But it's deeper than that, right? It's not just that. It's not that simple inclination. It's just like that hunger when it came to fasting. It's that deep, almost yearning and calling from your body that says, no, you have to do this. There is not a choice in this. It has to be done. And that level of certainty that our mind or our body has in that moment, we should not trust. It's not that we should assume it's wrong. We shouldn't assume it's right or wrong. We should understand it. We should explore it. We should really get to the root of what it really is. And the fasting experience just helped to bring that home and make that real for me and illustrate it. It gave me a reference point now that I could point to that helps me to remember to do that when maybe otherwise I wouldn't.